This is fascinating to me. Chris Demm brought it up in a Demm report. Guy is a police officer, undercover, drug deal gone wrong. He's with a drug dealer. The drug dealer gets on a scooter and is running away from him on a scooter. The police officer takes a cooler. We don't know size, but whatever it is, he's able to fling it at the fleeing scooter, hits the guy. Guy loses control of scooter, crashes into parked car, goes off. It's being reenacted here in the studio nicely. Hits head, whatever, dies. They call it a homicide. Biggie says, you don't know what a homicide means.
Let me say justified.
I say
A justified homicide.
justified homicide. I don't blame this guy for throwing a cooler at this drug dealer. Who knows how many lives he's saved? Sorry, but if you run from a scene of a crime, you get a cooler thrown at you, so what?
Yeah.
I'd put the guy right back on the streets, but Chris Demm and Dave say, let's let cooler heads prevail here and let's get Lisa Lanier's legal attorney on this. Because I also said that if you got a gun pointed at a criminal and the criminal turns and runs, as long as you say, stop or I will shoot, or freeze, and go ahead and shoot at him is what I say. Lisa may be at odds with that. Hello, Lisa Lanier. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, the use of deadly force is only permissible where the police officer has a reasonable belief that there is a threat of imminent bodily harm from this criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And so fleeing criminals, typically are not considered, unless they were shooting at people.
Right.
And so if the guy on the motorcycle was riding along shooting at people, then, that would be a whole different story, and they could pull out a gun and shoot him. You can use deadly force to stop this imminent bodily harm.
Right.
But where he was just fleeing, you can't do something that's likely to harm him, kill him. And here, it's also dangerous when you look at these police chase situations, the policies are derived not just from what's the right of the criminal or what's the law on use of deadly force, but also safety of bystanders. Because like here, this guy hit a Jeep and he hit a tree, and he could have caused and the ensuing chase, he could have caused harm to a lot of innocent people. And so that's one of the reasons that they back off on chases sometimes, or they don't go at crazy speeds. And nowadays they can usually, get a helicopter, drone. There's so much digital imagery everywhere. They can cut them off. They don't need to necessarily chase them.
Now, it feels like you're saying I'm mistaken. I'm wrong. And
you're mistaken. The law says deadly force, when. So, but now there's one thing. This is under investigation. He's not been. I think the officer's not been charged. The homicide, I think, came from the autopsy, and that's not a legal conclusion. That's simply medical examiners only have a handful of causes of death that they can put in.
That's what Biggie said. Biggie said, you don't know what homicide means? You have no idea what they're saying.
Suicide, natural causes, and homicide. So homicide just means that they died as a result of the willful actions of another person.
That's what Biggie said.
Conclusion.
Yeah.
And you
not
said
at
to me
all.
like I was wrong.
I looked at Biggie like he had two heads, and I said, not only am I okay with this guy throwing a cooler at the fleeing scooter, but in the shows I watch, you say, stop or I'll shoot, and if they don't stop, you shoot. Now, what if the person, let's say, is a criminal not firing a gun at other people, but has a gun? You know he has a gun, and he turns and runs away. Can I then use deadly force to stop him?
If it's just on his person, like you saw it, tucked into his pants or whatever, or on a holster or whatever,
right,
then unless he's brandishing the weapon, it's probably going to go that it, in the favor that it's not a deadly force situation. This because he's not brandishing the weapon. But if he's brandishing a weapon, even if he's not firing it, then that's an imminent threat of deadly force.
What about, is your sense, Lisa, of this case from the Bronx, the flying cooler, the scooter, the guy dies of a head injury? I mean, is there any way the cop liable for this? I mean, he certainly didn't intend to kill the guy.
No, but, unfortunately, probably what will come out of it is that probably the city will settle with the family, probably. And the officer, he's already suspended without pay. And he'll probably face some kind of charges. I don't think it'll be, it's not like a first degree. Like you said, he didn't intend it. It might be some sort of manslaughter charge or something like that. But they are often charged. Police officers are often charged when excessive force leads to a death. It's just it just was I think it was maybe a newer officer was what I read, and maybe, just didn't have that experience or that training to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not, this might kill the guy,
We could have put him in right field on the softball team, though.
Yeah.
Guy's got a deadly accurate arm.
Yeah, really. Get that guy on the
You talk about throwing somebody out at the plate.
Yes.
With a cooler. I mean, a cooler, too. You know what I mean?
It's a cooler. It's a cooler. It's a cooler.
A flying cooler.
So, same type thing. Let's say he's deadly accurate with a gun, and he shoots the tire out of the scooter to stop him, as we've seen in movies a million times. Guy falls, dies. Same exact scenario here, correct?
Probably. It's not as that's not as clear because, depending on how fast the guy's going, shooting a tire out is not necessarily going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting him in the head with a cooler, pretty bad when he's moving. And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't appreciate that when you are moving and an object hits you, the velocity is increased because of your speed. And so a lot of people don't realize that. Oh, I'll bump him,
Yeah.
So, like when like I had a client that was hit with a brick flew off of a construction vehicle on I-95. Well, you're going 65, 70 miles an hour. I think speed limit was 70 miles an hour.
Right.
That brick comes at you at that force through your windshield. It's deadly. People don't realize it. They're like, it's just a little object. So like when you see something flying off of a construction truck, a cooler or tool,
Yeah.
I mean, watch out. It's very, very dangerous.
Terrifying.
Absolutely right. I agree with that. I felt like what he did here was knock him off the bike. It wasn't the cooler hitting him in the head. Maybe it was. That it knocked him so he lost control and then died as a result of the accident.
And how fast was he going? I mean,
Right.
all that plays
All that.
into
To
it.
me,
All of that plays into it.
now listen, while you're explaining all this, I'm making faces.
You're writhing.
He's sighing and huffing
I
and
don't
puffing.
like it. Because this
He
guy,
wants to Starsky and Hutch these assholes.
guy's a drug dealer. The guy is
At the end of the day, he's
doing
something
drug
illegal.
dealer. And this inexperienced cop, perhaps,
With a good arm.
with a good arm and a good heart, okay?
Yes.
But a better arm and great accuracy is going to wind up maybe being on the hook for manslaughter when I think he's taking a scumbag off the streets,
I knew this weekend.
Yeah,
Did you watch Dirty Harry?
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
don't kill the messenger here. Don't kill the messenger.
I
I'm just telling
understand.
you how the law is.
Did you watch RoboCop, Kelly?
Lisa, are you with me? Are you with me on this?
You want to clean up the streets.
I feel bad for the officer. I do, and I think he was probably, in the moment, he was like, I can stop that guy.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Let me wing him with this cooler. I played.
He's fleeing the scene.
He's fleeing the scene. I just, man, oh
I want to see this guy, and I want to see this cooler. It's not a Yeti. It can't
It
be.
can't
Could
be.
not be a
They
heavy
fired a
inebriate.
Yeti at it.
You can't throw a
Impossible.
Yeti that far. It's got to be like one of those igloo,
Yeah, it's an old Chris Demm igloo. It's
a Playmate.
It's a Playmate he threw out. Lisa Lanier, as always, you're right on the money with it, but I was wrong in every thought of this. I just felt like, you got a bad guy here and a good guy, and the good guy by accident went too far. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no one's surprised.
Thank you.
No, what's surprised?
This is the least surprising Lisa segment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say underwhelming, but it's in the neighborhood.
You hear that?
I mean, no offense to Lisa.
No, Lisa does a fine job. Don't get me wrong.
They'll say to me at the end of the
Kelly
show.
dragged you out of bed.
Of course.
I mean, this could have waited till Friday.
Chris Demm said, "Why are you dragging her out of bed for this? What are you getting her?"
Let her
I said,
sleep.
I said, "Call her."
I'm an early bird. I've been up for hours.
She'd been up. I said, "She'd been up. It's fine."
All right.
At the end of the show, they'll say, "Turn in your headphones and your eyeglasses." That's it. You're off the streets.
Booker's a good cop.
Damn it, man.
God. Thank you, Lisa. Always great to talk to you, though.
Absolutely. Have a great week.
You
Bye.
too. She goes, LanierLawGroup.com or HireAHeavyweight.com. We're going to talk to her again. I'm going to drag her out of bed on
Yeah,
Friday.
you know
Also,
it.
don't you worry about that.
You know it.
I just can't believe this. But okay. And I should say this. What about, even in Florida or Texas, can I not shoot them in Florida or Texas, like from behind? I
Probably
guess
do a little better in court there.
I think so.
I think
The jury.
still think they have to have a weapon.
All right.
Well, the scooter.
Everything.
The scooter's a weapon.
I don't think the Vespa counts.
I'll tell you what's so frustrating here is not only was I wrong in the count when it comes to coolers and guns and the states and the law with Lisa, Biggie even got me on that homicide thing.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
taught you something, didn't
He
he?
told me something. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't know what a homicide is. I do know what a homicide is.
Lisa
I watch
said
Homicide.
the coroner's only got like 3 boxes to check.
I tried to tell Lisa, too. I said, I've already explained to him what a homicide is. They don't
Homicide,
believe me.
suicide, natural causes.
I couldn't see Dave's face, but I'm sure I know what Dave's face was doing, too. I saw 2 out of 3 go,
don't know.
Whatever.
This idiot don't know. And
Yeah.
then he was right on the money with it. All right.